so thankful that she was able to share her light to so many people. Yeah, I'll never get to see her get married, have kids, buy her first house.
4 people are now charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of Chicago police officer Ariana Preston.
The shift ended at midnight. Ariana Preston clocked out, got in her car, and headed home through Chicago's South Side. Same route she'd taken 100 times before. 24 years old, 3 years on the force, 2 years into her master's program at Loyola. In 72 hours, she'd walk across that stage with her degree. 72 hours. She pulled into her driveway in Avalon Park at 1:42 in the morning, still wearing her uniform, badge still visible on her chest. 4 masked figures stepped out of a car, guns already out, no hesitation. Ariana returned fire. She hit nothing. They hit her twice, face, neck. One of them took her service weapon off her body while she was dying. Then they left. And here's what cracked the whole case open. One of them couldn't keep quiet, bragged about it to a friend the next day, called it my work. That friend went straight to the police. Ariana didn't fall into this career by accident. She picked it, deliberately. South Side Chicago. Strong family foundation. Parents who didn't just raise their kids, they shaped them. Structure wasn't something forced on Ariana and her siblings. It was something they learned to value. Discipline, purpose, a clear sense of direction. Her younger brothers and sisters didn't just live in the same house with her. They watched her, learned from her, followed her lead. For Ariana, rules weren't restrictions. They were the framework for building something solid, something lasting. Illinois State University. Criminal justice major. She locked in from day one. No switching directions, no second guessing. She knew what she wanted, and she stayed on that path all the way through graduation. Most people hit that point and take a break. Travel. Decompress. Figure out what's next. Not Ariana. She enrolled immediately in Loyola University Chicago's master's program. At the same time, she was working full-time as a Chicago police officer. Real talk, that's 2 full-time commitments that most people can't juggle separately. She was carrying both at once. Her colleagues in the 5th District knew exactly who she was. Reliable. Not flashy, not out here trying to be some kind of hero, just consistent. She showed up, did the work, took it seriously. The badge wasn't about ego for her. It wasn't theater, it was responsibility. And those overnight shifts? Man, they turn your whole life upside down. You sleep when the sun's out, work when the city's asleep. Family time gets carved out of whatever thin space is left between exhaustion and duty. But Ariana made it work. Case reports in between class assignments, academic research during meal breaks, a master's thesis taking shape slowly while Chicago moved through its darkest hours. By May, she wasn't just approaching graduation. She was right there, 72 hours away. Coursework finished, final requirements completed, ceremony scheduled. She'd even posted a photo on Instagram, cap and gown, big smile, looking proud and ready for whatever came next. The future wasn't some vague idea for Ariana Preston. It was scheduled, confirmed, about to happen. While Ariana was wrapping up her shift that night, 4 young men were wrapping up something entirely different. A robbery spree. Jalen Frazier, 16 years old, Jaquan Buchanan, 18, Joseph Brooks, 18, Treviel Breland, 19. They'd been moving through Chicago's South Side for hours, building momentum. One robbery leading straight into the next. Each success making the next one feel easier, safer, like they couldn't be touched. Around midnight, they targeted a woman near 46th and Ellis. 4 against 1. They came up on her, took her phone, credit cards, belt, wristlet, everything. She didn't resist. The numbers alone were enough to keep her quiet. They didn't need violence, just the threat of it. 40 minutes later, they spotted a red Kia Forte parked near 47th and Indiana. Engine running, nobody inside. They didn't need to break into it, they just took it, and from that point on, that stolen car became their ride for everything that followed that night. 1:07 in the morning. That red Kia pulled up to a house at 100th and Wallace. 3 of them jumped out, shoved 2 people to the ground, grabbed a coach bag and a cell phone, then bounced. 23 minutes after that, a man parking his Tesla near 91st and Merrill became the next victim. They took his phone, his key fob, left him standing there empty-handed. 4 robberies. 90 minutes total. This wasn't desperation. This wasn't people backed into a corner with no other options. This was momentum. Adrenaline. The performance of it. Each crime feeding into the next, lowering the barrier for what came after. And they still weren't satisfied. The red Kia rolled into Avalon Park just after 1:40 in the morning. Quiet streets, soft porch lights, nothing else, moving. Then they spotted her. A woman, alone, walking across her front lawn, police uniform still on, badge catching the light from the street lamp. They didn't see a police officer ending her shift. They didn't see someone 3 days away from finishing a master's degree. They didn't see someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who had spent years building a future with focus and intention. They saw a target, around 1:42 in the morning. May 6th, shift complete, work done, still in uniform because patrol shifts don't end with some kind of ceremony. You handle the last call, clear the radio, drive home. Her street in Avalon Park looked the same as it did every other night. Quiet, residential, familiar, nothing signaling danger. No raised voices, no conflict spilling into the open. No obvious threat visible anywhere. Just a front lawn, a sidewalk, the ordinary act of coming home after work. Then a vehicle pulled up. Not casual, not slow, deliberate. Doors opened fast. 4 figures emerged almost at the same time. Black clothing, covered faces, weapons already out in their hands. This wasn't a confrontation that escalated. This wasn't dialogue that went wrong. This was a planned attack. Ariana didn't get time to assess what was happening. Training took over. Instinct replaced thought. She did what her training demanded, what her practice prepared her for, what her commitment required if this moment ever came. She fired back. Investigators would eventually recover shell casings from her service weapon scattered across her lawn. Evidence that she didn't freeze, didn't surrender, didn't accept what was happening without responding. In the seconds that followed, gunfire shattered the silence of that block. Not prolonged, not a standoff, just immediate, concentrated violence. She was struck in the face and neck. During the chaos, one of them removed her service weapon from her body. The group fled immediately, got back in their vehicle. The encounter ended as suddenly as it began, leaving behind quiet, blood, and a front lawn transformed from sanctuary to crime scene. Ariana lay wounded outside her home, still uniformed, badge still displayed. A Chicago police officer responding to an unrelated call nearby discovered her, recognized instantly that the victim was one of their own. She'd executed her training perfectly. It didn't save her. What followed wasn't chaotic. It was crushing. Emergency responders arrived. Officers converged on the location. The transition from tactical response to collective grief happened instantly, and it devastated everyone present. She was transported to the hospital, surrounded by people who understood what that uniform represented, people who comprehended the stakes of the profession, people who'd shared identical overnight shifts and routines. Despite every intervention, Ariana Preston was pronounced dead from her injuries. She was 24 years old. The badge didn't protect her. It marked her. As Chicago woke up, the investigation began moving. Chicago doesn't let violence like this slide. Not in residential neighborhoods, not when the victim wears a badge, and not when the crime is this bold. Detectives started reconstructing the night in reverse. Hour by hour, choice by choice, surveillance footage was collected. POD cameras documented movements, vehicles, sequences. cell phone data began revealing patterns: who was where, when, and with whom. Ballistics analysis connected weapons to shell casings recovered at the scene. DNA testing linked individuals to items left behind. What looked like a rapid, anonymous attack started breaking down under investigation. A red Kia Forte stolen earlier that night became central to everything. The vehicle had been used during the crime spree before the shooting. Afterward, someone set it on fire, an attempt to eliminate evidence that only created more questions. Inside other vehicles connected to the group, detectives discovered credit cards belonging to robbery victims. That connected multiple crimes into one continuous sequence of events. This wasn't one bad decision. It was a chain of them. Then came the breakthrough moment. Not from interrogation, not from investigative pressure, from arrogance. Jalen Frazier, the youngest member of the group, talked to a friend. Instead of keeping quiet, he boasted. Instead of showing remorse, he showed pride. He described the night in detail, how they'd been robbing people, how they encountered a woman alone, how she fired at them, and how one of his companions shot back and killed her. He called it "my work." The friend didn't join in the celebration. The friend contacted police immediately. That single conversation placed the entire group at the scene. It established intent. It aligned perfectly with the physical evidence already accumulated. It transformed suspicion into certainty. No interrogation cracked this case. Ego did. Arrests followed quickly. Here's the timeline investigators put together. 11:57 p.m. A woman robbed at gunpoint near 46th and Ellis by 4 men exiting a white Dodge Avenger. They took her wristlet, belt, phone, credit cards. Complete robbery. 12:39 a.m. A red Kia Forte parked at 47th and Indiana. Stolen. 1:07 a.m. That red Kia arrives at a home at 100th and Wallace. 3 men exit, force 2 people to the ground, steal a coach bag and cell phone. 1:30 a.m. A person parking a Tesla at 91st and Merrill, robbed. Thieves take his cell phone and Tesla key. 1:42 a.m. ShotSpotter sensors detect 9 rounds of gunfire at 8157 South Blackstone. Officers don't respond immediately due to district backlog. 1:51 a.m. Multiple calls report a red Kia burning in an alley near 72nd and Everhart. 2:02 a.m. A 911 notification originates from the same location as the ShotSpotter alert 20 minutes earlier, not from a neighbor. From Officer Preston's Apple Watch, automatically alerting dispatch she was in distress. 2:15 a.m. An officer responding to an unrelated incident discovers her, doesn't wait for an ambulance, places her in the squad car, drives directly to University of Chicago Hospital. She'd been shot once in the face, once in the neck. Bullet casings recovered from the scene confirmed 2 guns fired. 1 belonged to Ariana. That same night, prosecutors say, one defendant bragged to a friend about participating in the robberies and the shooting of Officer Preston. That friend immediately alerted police. Fast forward to Sunday night. Police monitor a home at 76th and Bishop. They observe Jaquan Buchanan entering an Uber. Officers stop the vehicle and arrest Buchanan along with his ex-girlfriend who was with him. During his arrest, Buchanan started screaming, loud enough to alert others inside a nearby residence. After an extended standoff with SWAT, the remaining suspects were taken into custody. A gun recovered from the Uber's back seat was later traced to Officer Preston's murder. But Officer Preston's gun remained missing. One defendant reportedly admitted they sold it. All 4 suspects were arrested and charged with first-degree murder, plus additional counts related to armed robbery and vehicle theft.
4 people are now charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of Chicago police officer Ariana Preston. Police say the group had been on a crime spree before killing the officer. Fox 32's Joni Lum joins us live from police headquarters with the latest. Joni?
Hello, Sylvia. Investigators had to work through their sorrow, and they say that community involvement helped them to make arrests and stop a crime spree that victimized women alone before it ended with the fatal shooting of Officer Preston. The offenders are teens: 19-year-old Travell Breland, 19-year-old Joseph Brooks, 18-year-old Jaquan Buchanan, and a 16-year-old male. Police say at least 2 of them shot at Officer Ariana Preston when she was returning home from work at 1:42 a.m. Saturday. Police say the 4 offenders were traveling in a stolen red Kia, and they were looking for people to victimize. They allegedly committed multiple crimes before ambushing Officer Preston.
As Officer Preston was returning home from her tour of duty early Saturday morning, 4 offenders pulled up in a stolen vehicle. The offenders quickly exited the vehicle and ran towards Officer Preston while armed. An offender fired at Officer Preston, who returned fire. The offenders continued to shoot Officer Preston, and an offender stole Officer Preston's weapon before all offenders fled the scene in a stolen vehicle.
Her last arrest that evening, even the arrestee, once finding out the news of what had happened, she wept. But that speaks to credit of Officer Preston.
Commander Pendarvis says that the charges put police on a path to heal from the loss of this star officer if they can ever get over their grief. The officer's weapon was stolen. It has not been recovered. That stolen car was set on fire, and those 4 offenders are going to be in bond court at.
Despite being only 16 years old, Frazier was charged as an adult, a decision reflecting the severity of the crime and the volume of evidence against him. Due to his age, though, he was housed in juvenile detention while the case moved through the courts. When they appeared in court, bond was denied for all 4. The courtroom filled completely, not with disorder or spectacle, but with presence. A substantial group of Chicago police officers attended, not to intimidate, to demonstrate solidarity. They stood there supporting the family of a fallen colleague, watching 4 teenagers confront the consequences of decisions made in minutes but measured in lifetimes. No shouting occurred, no disruptions, just the weight of what happened, settling over everyone present. 4 young lives now permanently connected to the one they eliminated. For Ariana's family, the courtroom wasn't about legal procedures, it was about absence. Her father spoke about justice, not vengeance, accountability. Her mother, composed and resolute, stated her position clearly. She wanted life sentences for those responsible, not from hatred, but from conviction that what was taken couldn't be weighed lightly. She spoke of her daughter not primarily as an officer, but as a person.
But as I said in that courtroom today, the people I really felt sorry for was those boys. I felt sorry for them because nobody obviously didn't pour into them. Nobody told them that they were loved. Nobody told them that you can do anything, like I constantly preach to my daughters. My daughter was 24. Criminal justice was her background. She graduates May 13th from Loyola. Education is what we preach.
In court, it was revealed 16-year-old defendant Jalen Frazier admitted to a friend the shooting was his work. He fired a gun at her and then Preston shot at him and the other defendants. So they shot and killed her.
As crazy as this may sound, I pray for their family. I really, really do. I pray for their family. Anytime you can shoot somebody and say, that was my work, what kind of human would say that about another human being? We're going to get through this. Ariana will get justice. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of me. A whole lot of me. Because I'm a praying mama. And I had a beautiful daughter that I know deserves justice. She's supposed to be in the courtroom. Well, here I am. I'm in the courtroom for her.
When asked what justice would look like for her in her daughter's murder case, Moon said,
a life sentence. That's justice for us.
A young woman who was supposed to complete her education, build a career, enter a future she'd already carefully designed. She prayed not only for her family, but for the troubled youth whose choices brought them all there. Grief filled her voice. Pain. But not hysteria. Not performance. The kind of sorrow that roots deep and remains. She was supposed to be in a courtroom one day, she said. The implication lingered. Not memorialized in one. Chicago mourned. Collectively. Ariana's funeral drew fellow officers, city leaders, and community members who'd never met her, but understood what her loss meant.
Good morning. My name is Tyrone Pendarvis. I'm commander of the 5th District. I had the distinct pleasure of supervising the blessing of a person, Ariana Preston. When speaking with her mother, one of the main concerns, even though she was grief-driven, she related that she didn't think she could be the police. She's so small and quiet. She didn't think it could happen. I said, are we talking about the same person? The person I knew was full of energy, full of life. I can go over many times, specifically one, whereas when I first arrived to the 5th District and was given this blessing, she wouldn't let me pass her without speaking. She introduced herself and said, I want you to know this name with this face. That's who I am. And I took off guard because I'm like, hey, I'm the commander. But she put me right in my place and let me know, hey, you just a commander, but I am Ariana. But the thing was, I tried to tell Ms. Moon that we loved Ariana. Matter of fact, I want the 5th District to rise up, stand up and show her how much we loved her. Everybody in 5, stand up. Everybody here is from the 5th District. We loved your daughter. We loved her. There's nobody in my district that wasn't affected or could tell you a story about her. From Christmas parties to gatherings, from whatever. We loved your daughter. And I just want to leave with that she wasn't alone with us. We looked out for her. We looked out for every one of my guys I look out for, and we look out for each other. We are a family. And that's all I wanted to say about it. Amen. Thank you.
Streets lined with people. Uniforms occupying every available space. Silence communicating more than any words could. In the weeks and months that followed, Chicago refused to let her name disappear. A section of her Avalon Park neighborhood was renamed Ariana M. Preston Way, anchoring her memory to the exact location where she'd been attacked. That street sign became more than a marker. It became a statement that her presence still mattered, that the city acknowledged what was lost there. At Loyola University Chicago, where she'd been 72 hours from completing her master's degree, a memorial scholarship was established in her name. The education she never finished would now assist others pursuing careers in law, justice, and public service. Through the Peace for Preston Foundation, her family transformed their grief into action, mentorship, education, community work designed to protect futures rather than simply mourn them. In that way, her legacy became something active, something living, something that continued contributing even after her death. But while memorials stood quietly, the case itself remained active. In January 2026, the legal process continued inside Cook County courtrooms. Pre-trial hearings resumed for the 4 men charged in Ariana Preston's murder. Judges evaluated motions, ruled on evidence, determined how the case would proceed. One significant ruling permitted firearms expert testimony at trial, strengthening the prosecution's ability to connect ballistics evidence to the shooting. The youngest defendant, 16 at the time of the crime, remained charged as an adult, though still housed in juvenile detention due to his age. Other defense motions, including attempts to suppress statements provided to police, were argued and evaluated. No trial date had been established yet, but the case was active, methodical, ongoing, no resolution yet, no verdict, no final arguments, just the deliberate procedural progression of accountability, years after a life had already been taken in seconds. And yet, no amount of legacy restores a life. Justice, if it arrives completely, won't restore her presence at family gatherings. It won't reverse that night or erase the moment her front lawn became a crime scene. It can't return the years she would have lived, the career she would have built, the courtroom she was meant to enter as a graduate. Not a memory. What remains is the truth. Ariana Preston didn't die because she was careless. She didn't die because she accepted unnecessary risks. She didn't die because she failed. She died because she showed up, night after night, shift after shift, believing in a future she was actively building until the final moment. We upload new true crime content daily, covering cases you know and many you don't. Stick with us as we bring you more stories that deserve to be heard. See you in the next one.